Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. There's so many who have heard these words so many times, and yet there are so few who have literally corporeally sat in front of me and my partner during this event. It's called channeling. And there are so many energies here that you can either see or not see, so many energies that you can either accept or not accept. There's a reality that is being presented to you here that you haven't really seen before or understand. And if you're not in a place that is ready to see them, it becomes confusing. And this leads to then the decision you have that would say, it isn't real. And again, I bring this up as I have over and over and over. Your reality is limited to what you've seen or what you're told should be or should not be. And that's too bad. And that particular thing, the discernment factor of humanity, is a box that even keeps science from seeing what is real. The logic of spirit is expansive. The logic of humanism is not. You often have this philosophy that says, this is the way it is unless you prove it's different. And therefore, the possibilities that something is different is not entered into the equation unless you have absolute solid proof that it is something that you ought to look at. And then the box is restrictive. I represent the great central sun. This is a metaphor, of course, for the creative energy. There is no sun that is the center of anything. The metaphor is that the sun for you is everything. It gives you life, it sustains you, keeps you warm. It's the thing you want to bask in when you relax. It's a metaphor. Central, meaning it's in the middle, as it should be. There's no bias, therefore, whether it's higher or lower. It's in the middle. It's the creative source. It's God. It's spirit. It's whatever you want to say. And I want to tell you, the logic of God is so much larger. Because spirit is the master physicist. And all the mysteries that you perceive as mysteries in the entire universe and the galaxy that you look at are simple rules known to God. Simple. But if you do not have that logic which wishes to think beyond the box that you believe is real, they will remain mysteries. And so I ask you yet again, is this a mystery? Is the man in the chair giving you cryptic information from a source that you question? And what is it you would do with it? And let me put this into perspective, my perspective. You have a meeting with a brother you have not seen for a long time and you want to catch up. Oh, it's so good to see him. He starts talking about things that are magical and mysterious that he's seen and done. Oh, it's so good to sit in his presence and you feel family. Or do you? Or do you say to him, well, I haven't been where you've been, so I question what you're telling me? Or do you say, you know, you've gotten older, so I don't really know whether you're my brother because you look different than I thought you would. I'm not even sure you're my brother. And you get up from the table and you leave. And you feel pretty good about your logic, don't you? And there will be those who will leave the room today feeling pretty good about their logic. There was no discernment past what you expected, was there? And this is where I give you the invitation yet again. Can you open up just for a day and see whether the energy makes sense to parts of your body you're not even sure you have? The discernment engine, the spirituality, the beauty of family. I want you to sit with your brother and listen, because all I have ever had for you is love, all. In 26 years, I've never asked you to do anything out of integrity of what a human would do. In 26 years, I've never asked you to join anything. All I've done is extend my hand and said there may be something here from the source that is the center for you. Last night, in another meeting, I started to talk about the templates of consciousness. These templates were given to you by what we call the time capsules of the Pleiadian. A system so precious and beautiful, and part of that which is the knowledge of dark and light. When you read the creation story, no matter what version you read, you see the benevolence of God giving humans choice. Some of the stories have been altered to reflect low consciousness. We said last night, it's funny that when you project what the galaxy may be like when you visit it, all you're going to see is war. You better take your weapons, right? You have just projected the lowest seated consciousness in the galaxy to everybody. Without awareness that the galaxy may have life that has been here for millions of years and solved the problems of low consciousness. But you carry them and you project them. You project them to God, you project them to ETs, you project them to planets, stars, Star Wars. Don't project them to me. I come to you like so much of the galaxy does. In love. There is more here than you think, and it's safe. And this is what I want you to see and discern. Don't take my word for it. Oh, dear ones, there was a time when this whole idea of my partner channeling was a bit iffy because he didn't believe it. And all I did was give him love. And he didn't believe it. I could look into his mind and know why he didn't believe it. He was waiting for the other shoe to drop. He was waiting for some other alternative reason why he would be giving unconditional love. He couldn't get out of the darkness of humanism that always looks for the alternative reason. Because that's what a low consciousness does. Dear ones, you are passing out of that. And that is the best news I could give you. A slow evolution of humanity passing out of the dark ages that is all of humanity up to 2012. An age of conquering and greed where compassion is nothing except an occasional word from a mother to a child. Where compassion is not the way of humanity at all. And that is going to change. Is it possible Is it even in your reality to think maybe you can graduate from an old human nature to something that is new? Can you give that possibility a chance that human nature is not galactic nature? And that you're going to start a growth period of wisdom. I want to talk more about the template tonight. I want to give you part 2 from last night. I want to describe some of the attributes of the new template that the time capsules, which are opening again, start to give you. But you're not going to believe any of it unless you can believe that it's possible for human nature to shift. The issue, as I described before, is reasonable. The issue that would keep you tied into the old energy is reasonable. I know it. Because all you have ever seen for thousands of years is conquering greed, hate, trauma, and death. And I come along and tell you it's shifting. It's a stretch, isn't it? Especially when you look at your news, isn't it? And then go back and listen to what I told you years ago would take place, for this is what is taking place. The old energy is fighting so hard right now to take everything back to the way it was. And it's going to fight you globally, internationally. It's going to fight you domestically and personally. It wants to beat you up in personal ways, make you tired and give in and say, oh, nothing is ever going to change, therefore I won't look anymore. There is no spiritual thing that is any different than it ever was, therefore I will stop looking. And dear ones, if you do that, then the enemy has won. The old soul carries a light quotient which is enormous. And what I mean by that is every single old soul in the room holds a box of light that is incredible, and it's just peeking out of the crack at the moment for what you could do. And this light is a metaphor for a higher consciousness of wisdom that is going to change your life, make you live longer, You won't have a choice because the light will cure you even of aging, dear ones. That is what is ahead. What do you think? Real or not? We'll talk later. And so it is.